I don't know if this is a rule, but are we not supposed to kiss at all in church?
We have questions.
This is a good question, okay? And I got the answer. I do have it. I believe I have the answer, and I want to answer it with wisdom, okay? But let me calm myself down and first give a disclaimer. This beautiful couple is married. So the reason why I'm saying this is because we want to make sure that it's clear. They're asking this question because they're married, and it's quite valid, okay? But for anyone who is unmarried doing married things, we're not talking to you. As far as I'm concerned, you can just exit. I'm joking. You can listen, but we're not talking to anybody doing married things while unmarried, okay? So back on subject, I do want to reframe the question away from the kiss because I think the question was, is it not okay to kiss at all in the church? I think that's kind of how it was framed. But I understood what the basis was, and if y'all listen, y'all understand. And the reason why I had to move it away from that, the subject of the kiss, is because if I said it is not okay to kiss in the church, then that would put a whole bunch of people in the bucket of condemnation, right? Because how many people have gotten married in the church, and y'all know how the ceremonies go, and what it ends with? It ends with a kiss. Now, I will say I have seen some quite interesting church kisses in the church under marriage. Not in our church, but no, I have seen some, and it was scarring. Okay, but that was back in my childhood. Okay, I hope to never see that again. But going back to the subject, I would be lying. So I can't. I have to remove the conversation away from the kiss and more so put it on the heart. The heart. Okay, the condition of the heart. What is in your heart? What is the motive? What is the intention? Is what makes you want to do that? Or is God telling you to do it? Or you just doing it because you want to do it? Or whatever. What is the reasoning behind it? Because the motive really matters. Okay? The condition of the heart really matters when it comes to what we do and why we do it. So that's the first thing. Second thing is we have to remember where we are, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes we forget that this is the house of God. This is the house of prayer, okay? And sometimes we think that being married gives us free reign to do whatever we want when we want. And that doesn't even give us free reign as well. This is why we have to submit our ways to God, fully submit ourselves to God, and ask Him for His wisdom. Because in wisdom, we will know what to do. Because God will give us the revelation. When we fully submit to God, we will understand that it's not about us, but it's about God. And sometimes doing certain things can take away from what God is trying to do when we are in our flesh. Sometimes things can be a stumbling block to someone else. And I know y'all saying, some people may say that, not y'all, but I know some people may say, am I my brother's keeper? Did y'all not forget what Cain said? Cain said that. But do y'all know what type of heart he had? He had a horrible heart. This is why he raised a whole generation of people who did not serve God, who did not love God. He never repented. That was his response. Am I my brother's keeper? You just unalived your brother. And then that's going to be your response. That type of heart is not the heart that we want to have. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. So I do not want to be a stumbling block to my brother. You know, I put a kiss and I'm, rubbing my husband or something like that. Or vice versa, husband rubbing. Sometimes things can really be a stumbling block. And this is why we have to ask God in everything. This is why we have to go to God in everything that we do. This is why we have to submit ourselves daily. Die to our flesh daily. Because let me tell you something about flesh. We all have our own moral values. We all have our own convictions. We all have our own idea of what is deemed innocent. And if we move based out of that, where do we draw the line in the church? Everybody just gonna be doing everything. There's gonna be nobody on one. We are not gonna be on one accord because everybody gonna just be doing their own thing based off of what they feel is their moral value, their own convictions, and all that. But what does the Bible say? Let's take it to the word because the Bible says, "Let God be true, every man be a lie." Okay. When we read Exodus chapter 3 verse 5, it talks about Moses when he walked upon the burning bush, and immediately God told him to remove his sandals, his shoes, because he was standing on holy ground. Now listen, a person who is viewing things currently may only see the bush. Oh, that's just a bush that's on fire. But they don't see the presence of God. They don't see that it's an unconsuming fire. They don't see that because they're looking from a carnal view. But God said this is holy ground. Wherever God abides, it's holy. Okay? And we can't just step into his presence any kind of way. There's a way that we ought to come to God because He is almighty, He's all sovereign, He is holy. There's a reverence that we ought to give Him and His house because God calls this church or His house the house of prayer. So just because you look at the building, God calls it the house of prayer. And desecrating the house of prayer has consequences. If we go back in time, y'all go read the Old Testament. It's dramatic, y'all. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, if y'all need some activity in y'all life, go read the Old Testament. Okay? God, people paid for not being in the will of God. People paid for disobedience and not being in His presence and doing things their way. Prime example, I think his name was Uzzah. It's Uzzah. I think that's how you spell it. But y'all remember about the Ark of the Covenant and it fell and he tried to catch it, and the moment he touched it, God smite him. I'm telling y'all, disobedience is better than sacrifice. And when we disobey God and we do whatever we want because we feel like we can, it has consequences. It has consequences. There's too many times in the Bible people have done things that desecrate the house of God and they pay for it. People going in the temple and they wasn't supposed to be in there. People pay for that. So what I'm saying is, it pays to honor God the right way, and the best way you can honor God is through full submission, fully submitting yourself to God. Be holy, for I am holy. Now I ain't saying that again. I'm not saying that a kiss is not wrong, but what is the motive behind it? Why are you doing it? What reason are you doing it? Is it going to give God the glory? Do you think that it's going to take away from? Sometimes it be the timing. Y'all be doing stuff. People be doing stuff at the wrong time. Did you ask God? See, and so that's the reason why I can't fully answer that question in that sense, but I can give you guidance about what the word says, and for us to submit our ways to Him. Acknowledge God in all our ways, and He may direct our path. I do know that. And so, one thing, I don't want to err and be a stumbling block to anybody else, because am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. I am my brother's keeper, and I have to be mindful of what I do. It doesn't mean that we got to walk on eggshells, but when it comes to God and His house and the kingdom, we should walk correctly. We should be mindful of what we do, how we do it, when we do it. If it's not in God, then we're in error. Okay, so I just want to say that that was really a good question. Really good question. So anyway, talk to y'all later.